Hello and welcome to the Boost Over Ball podcast, your go-to place for everything Rocket League with your hosts, K-Cube, AJ Binky, and Red. So lean forward, lock in, and get ready to go Boost Over Ball.
Okay, well, maybe we have to restart because I may have been muted. Yes, at least we found out now, though.
I mean, it's true. This is like a big yap session, so...
Yeah. Also, why am I...
Your audio's only coming out of my left ear.
Yeah,
That sounds like a you problem.
I don't know why.
He's going out both from me.
No. On stream, it's only coming out of my left ear.
Oh.
Like him regularly is coming out normally, but whatever it's the stream, it's specifically my left ear. It's like an ASMR, but he's just right ear talking to me.
That is super weird. Okay, well, let's add an audio in. Let's add my mic to this. I don't know why it's...
Oh, it is. What the heck? That is so weird.
Is it still just... It's just one channel?
It's just left ear. That's so weird.
Okay.
I've never seen that happen on Twitch before.
Next to mono.
All right, so we'll put you left ear, and then we'll put me right ear, and then Red will be both ears.
I'll be both ears. I'll be the 40 audio where I'm in the back of your head.
Just moving around.
I'm just circling.
Did that fix it?
I don't have an audio. Yeah.
Hey, thank you for the follow. Sorry, we're working through some audio issues before we jump into this episode, but
It fixed it.
Cool.
Ozzy.
I set it to mono. I don't know why it wasn't on mono before.
Yeah, that's fixed. It's
Okay.
good now.
Yeah.
But also
We are back.
Hecto, all the follows. Thank you.
Yeah, I may have self-promoted a bit one of my servers, so.
Hell yeah. Okay, well, also, I think that somehow fixed the echo that I was hearing, too. I don't know how that happened.
Nice.
So...
We promise it's not usually like this.
Accidental tech support, baby.
Okay. Take two? Everybody ready for take two?
Yeah, let's try this again.
Hello and welcome back to...
one. No one knows what take two.
Hello and welcome back to the Boost Over Ball podcast. The listeners new and old, hello and welcome to the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Kyle, K-Cube in the top left. In the top right, we have Red. And in the bottom, we got Quilly. How's it going, guys?
Going good.
Happy to be back again.
For the second time tonight.
At least you figured this out earlier.
Yeah, at least we didn't record the whole episode and then...
I don't know if I would have survived a prime yap session for the second time in a row.
Yeah, I've definitely done that before, like way early on. I just wasn't recording. I did like a whole hour and a half episode. I was like, I didn't record anything. Oh no. It was just the video, but no audio. So that would
just put captions, just captions only. So you just loosely trying to figure out what you're saying.
Exactly. I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna reveal a D1 yapper.
True. This is true.
But on today's episode, we'll be doing our Raleigh Major preview. We'll be talking about each team headed to Raleigh and placing them into categories. We'll talk about how they finished this season. We'll do Major 1 and then all 3 regionals from this split. We'll talk about any roster moves that they may have made in the transfer window. And then once we kind of go through each team region by region, we'll do some categories that we've predetermined and kind of say where we think each team is likely to finish or what kind of category that they fit into. But without further ado, are we ready to jump right in?
Let's do it.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, we have the Kings of EU. We have Carmine Corps. Notably, they made no roster changes heading into Split 2. Their previous finish at Major 1 in Birmingham, they finished first. In Open 4, they finished first. In Open 5, they finished second. And in Open 6, they finished first. So their lowest placing so far since the Birmingham Major is second place. And that was a little bit of a surprise against Dignitas. They then bounced back and swept that same Dignitas roster the next event. Are they the boogeymen of EU and maybe potentially also the world?
Is that even a question? I mean, this Carmine Core roster looks insane. They still look good, even after a slight hiccup losing to a Dig roster with a peaking app jack. I mean, they still look in prime condition. I am terrified for North America. I am preying on their downfall. But do I realistically, if I make a bracket and I'm going logically, I think they're winning. Yes.
I think it's not who's gonna win this. It's can anyone but KC win this? It's pretty much. It feels like I feel like we're watching 2023 Vitality all over again, but on steroids. Like they're actually undoubtedly that good.
They certainly are. And I mean, I still think that there's a really solid case that Raleigh is the best player in the world right now.
Easily.
I also don't think that you can. I don't think there's any world in which you can say there's a top 5. Like, I'll just say EU for right now, a top 5 EU, and you don't have Vatira or Atau also in or around top 5.
I mean,
Yeah,
T-Bates might.
T-Bates might, yeah. That's not the only one.
Yeah. Good point.
But almost every top 25 I've seen has had the Carmine Core crew in top 5, top 7 minimum.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the same with NRG and NA, right? The level of talent is just so far above of the rest of them in terms of like individual player talent, right? I mean, Dignitas has been, we'll transition here. Next we'll move over to Dignitas, who have made no roster moves since in the transfer window. At the major number 1, they finished 9th to 11th, losing out in round 5. In Open 4, they finished 3rd to 4th. In Open 5, they got 1st, and in Open 6, they got 2nd. So not in a pretty steady, consistency improvement for them. A disappointing finish for them in Birmingham, finishing 9th to 11th, dropping out in that round 5. But, what do you guys think about Dignitas? Because my kind of thoughts, at least currently are like the team is greater than the sum of their parts, right? Like, I don't know that you could look at any 3 of those players and consider them, 3 top 15 players in EU.
Yeah, I'd say it's a weird spot to be as a Dig fan right now, right? Split 1 before Birmingham was rough. Let's be realistic. They got the 3 seed, but it was rough. They did not look good. Did not
last year Jorius showed up.
Yes, last year Jorius did indeed show up, and it was not looking great. And we saw that Birmingham won, not even making it out of Swiss. I know a lot of EU stands had them at least making top 8, and in that case didn't happen. I think you're looking a lot better now. This is a far more confident Dignitas team. They seem to figure out their playstyle a lot better. Now, can that translate to international play? We'll have to wait and see. I think that will be probably their biggest speed bump is, they may have figured things out in EU. They figured out how to play those top EU teams, but can they change that for international play where we're going to see them? I mean, I think their first round matchup is, I can't even remember now. I had it pulled up in my head.
I got it.
Their first round matchup is against Virtus Pro.
So I mean, that Virtus Pro is a sneaky good Virtus Pro team, but you realistically should come out with a round 1 victory, which is a good place to start. We'll just need to see if they can kind of carry the momentum over.
Also, for just to recap, in major number 1, Dignitas beat Complexity 3-1. They lose 3-1 to Falcons. They beat Twisted Minds in 5. They lose in 4 to Furia, and then they lose in 5 to GK in round 5. So, God, they didn't play. That's crazy. They played Complexity, 2 Mina teams, a Sam team, and then GK. Interesting.
Yeah, that's Swiss for you.
So I think you hit the nail on the head. I think if they can figure out how to play against the teams from these other regions, then they'll be good. But that's why in my last kind of when we did our power rankings, I kind of said maybe Dignitas might be a team that falls out of the top 8 just because we haven't really seen it, at least with this current iteration of their roster. I have been wrong before, but until I see it, I don't know that I can say with confidence that they're going to make it into top 8.
I agree. I think they're in the best form they've been in this entire season. However, the question mark still remains for that international play. So definitely a big I think I have them making. I might have them making top 8. I think I have them placing around the same place they did in Birmingham, just because I am not confident with their consistency.
Fair. Well, Quilly, I got a question for you then. They did not take the second seed. However, the next team that we're going to talk about is Vitality. In your mind, who, regardless of points, who is the second best team in EU right now?
As much as they got the name recognition, it's hard to bet against Dignitas right now in comparison, just with how everything's been going for Vitality. They don't look like a terrible team, but they just don't look like the second best EU team. This split specifically has just been playing lights out across the board, nonstop, taking down everyone, even taking down K Corp, which is dang near impossible. But they have done it and won a regional championship. So it's got to go to Dig, but I mean it's still technically a toss up because you got to respect the trio that Vitality have. If they can just get it all together, which being they are so good, I feel like at some point they're gonna have to, but they just keep letting us down. So until then, Dig takes number 2.
I hear you. However, I raise you Monkey Moon playing on NA soil.
Well, we only know him well in Fort Worth, so we'll test his luck and we'll see how his Raleigh ability is.
This is true. This is Monkey Moon outside of the Dallas Fort Worth area. Although, I mean,
let's see what he's like in EST compared to Mountain Standard Time, I believe.
CST.
Yeah, whatever.
Texas is CST.
But that being said, with Vitality, again, no roster moves in the transfer window. They finished top 6 in Birmingham. They finished second in Open 2. Then they finished top 4 in Open 5 and Open 6. I don't want to say crashing out because top 4 is not really crashing out, but like for Vitality standards, they kind of crashed out in those last 2 Opens. They did not look very good on Championship Sunday, so I am intrigued to see what they can do on land because by all accounts, the talent on this roster is there. It's just Monkey Moon's a phenomenal player when he is. Zen is, Zen, and Exotic's the reigning world champion MVP. So, there's a lot of talent there, a lot of untapped potential, I'll say. So is this the time when they put it together, or is it going to be later? That is the biggest question.
Or ever.
Yeah, or ever. That's a good point. Yeah. So
by the looks of it, it's looking scary hours for Vitality fans. I really don't know. It's a wait and see thing. There's nothing you could do because you know the names, the players, they're all capable. They just got to go out and prove it.
Yeah. I mean, it's also possible too that Vitality will play phenomenally against, the changes that they've made since Birmingham, that they'll play great against all the other regions, and it's just the EU teams that see them every time that know how to beat them. Right? There's always a possibility that happens too. But
who'd they lose to in Birmingham?
In Birmingham, they made it. They ended up losing to. They lost to Ultimates in upper quarters. Then they lost in 7 to Furia.
In 7 to Furia.
In overtime.
Yeah.
In 7 to Furia.
That was that series.
Phenomenal series.
Great series. So I mean, they're getting close. That game 7.
Yeah, and Furia got the absolute honor of making it to the semifinals to get swept by Carmine.
It's the get swept by KC sweepstakes.
It's pretty much, but
come on down.
But you also have to remember too, Vitality swept Swiss in Birmingham. They beat Twisted in 5. They swept Furia, and they beat NRG in 4.
However, it is Swiss.
Yep.
And as we've seen, Swiss means nothing at this point.
Especially with Mr. Bucky Buchholz. You never know. You never know what's going to happen.
You could have NA playing NA in the first round for both all 4 NA teams. Thanks, Bucky.
the more we sit on it, the more I don't hate it as much because it now NA won't eliminate NA in round 5 if it goes there. Short term, it
because
begin that way.
NA will
We all just have to sit on it. But if the long term for the end of the bracket, it's not as annoying.
See, dude, I just knowing how this is gonna work out, and it is gonna play like we have 2 NA matchups round 1. I guarantee you, either in round two somewhere in there, either round 2 uppers or round 2 lowers, it's somehow gonna be NA again. I just know it.
The elimination games shouldn't be NA.
No, they shouldn't. But Bucky has screwed us before.
The only Bucky's I trust is Bucky's gas station.
True.
Well, last but certainly not least, in EU, we have Gentlemates, who the only team in the EU top 4 that made a roster move, and they pick up Yujin in exchange for Radosin prior to split number 2, which, again, we have to talk about it. We
called it.
This is where I need my soundboard. I need the round of applause soundboard. I need to get that fixed. But yeah, that was a bad roster move from the beginning. I don't think Radosin was it for that team, especially, the way that they like to play. I mean, I understand the aggression and the pure, just like Radosin. I'm going to use that as a verb, that he is. But it's Hecto said guaranteed 2 1-0 NA teams. True.
This is true.
We actually did talk about and said maybe Ultimates and Energy losing first round is probably best case scenario for NA, for all 4 teams to make it. Not necessarily best case, like NA loses or NRG loses 1, then sweeps the rest. That's how they do it.
I mean, okay, fair. However, how about we just go 3-0 and call it a day?
Hey,
where SSG loses in Swiss, dude.
He's gonna biggest crash out NA. He's not going to the crowd days.
No, I'm just going. I got my car. I'm driving home. I'm packing it up, going home. I'm just gonna go golf the other days.
But Gentlemates, they did not have a finish in Major number 1 because they did not make it because the Radosin pickup was that bad. In Open number 4, they finished top 4. In Open number 5, they finished top 6, and in Open number 6, they finished top 4. So, not definitely better results with Yujin, but not good enough to crack that top 4 threshold. Do you guys realistically see them challenging for a major here?
I see them probably being in a very similar spot to what Dig was in last major. They will most likely, depending on Bucky, will most likely end up in round 5 is my guess. And it just will come down to who they end up giving round 5. They get a team like Virtus Pro, Team Secret, one of the Oceania teams, something like that, then great. They'll make top 8. But if they get a situation where they're playing, Twisted Minds, they're playing, EU3 or NA3, then we start asking questions because realistically, that is as far as I see this team going is round 5/top 8. They are very much right in the middle there.
Fair.
Yeah, we did see Seiko win a region or a major just as recently as last year, so he is capable. Is this team better than the Itachi one?
No. Absolutely no.
Depends on what type of Yujin we're getting, because that boy can freestyle. It's pretty much 2 freestylers in Seiko versus the world. So it really it depends on what clips they're pulling off.
Fair enough.
Isn't that kind of what it is for SSG too? 2 freestylers in Kofor versus the world?
No. 2 freestylers and a demon.
Scribbles is a defensive demon. He just guards that wall. We got a demo god and then a freestyler.
Every time you say this, I can't just help but think the series you and I watched where you're like, he's a defensive demon. Immediately lets in 2-3 goals.
All right. Well, that was Caster Jinx. That's unfair.
But moving across the pond here, we'll move over to NA. First and foremost, NRG, who again, no roster moves. Their previous finish, they finished top 4 in Birmingham. They went first at Open 4, first at Open 5, top 4 in Open 6 after they'd already confirmed everything, not a lot on the line. Red, what are your thoughts on NRG heading into Raleigh?
Fun fact, the only games they lost on Championship Sunday were the team ultimates, and that includes the major. I think this energy roster is a lock for top 4, but I swear to God, if we face ultimates in top 4 again, I'm going to lose it. Get this team away from us, please. They have our number. I don't know why, but they do, especially when the number 3 is involved.
Yeah. Well, we shall have to wait and see on what happens with that, but I definitely think that they're your NA favorites, as they are the NA number 1 seed heading into this event, especially one on NA soil.
Agreed. I think, like I said, I believe they are a lot for top 4. How they get there is going to really determine how I think they will perform on Saturday and Sunday. I need to see this team start hot. Energy has struggled to start hot so often, and it's concerning. I just need this team to start hot and stay hot and just keep it going. Coach Stack, you get something going for these kids, because NA needs something, please.
Yeah. Second, we have SSG, who picked up Kofer in replace of Frosty prior to Split 2 starting. Their previous finish, they did not have a placing at Major number 1. They got a top 4 in Open number 4. They got a second place in Open number 5 and a first place finish in Open number 6. Quilly, it's your time to shine. What do you think of SSG? How do you think that they've been trending throughout the split, and what are your expectations for them at this major?
I mean, how have they been trending? The proof, the numbers are there. They've only gone up in positioning in every open, literally going from 3-4 to 2 to number 1. They've only gone up. Do they keep trending upwards? That we'll find out, because playing at home in your comfort of your bedroom, be it Reveal's dungeon basement, Scribbles' oasis of meditation, whatever they got, is completely different to the LAN experience. Because guess what? Those Europeans are literally 10 feet to your right, or if you're on the stage, 10 feet in front of you. So the stress is there, and these series are even bigger because you're not playing against outside of round 1, you're not playing against your own region. These are new teams that you've never seen before. Quite literally, none of these players have seen before. Unless they play them online in servers and they've been playing on 150 ping jumping servers, they've never seen any of them on the field. So it really depends on the nerves. The nerves is going to be the biggest factor in all of this. And being that they are by far the youngest team in the entirety of this LAN, it could play a huge factor, or it could be youthful ignorance, and they could just ball out. It's a lot of these teams. It really just depends on who we're seeing outside of K Corp and NRG. I think those are the 2 most consistent teams by far, and then after that, every team depends on who we get.
Fair. I think that they are, or they're at the beginning at least, they're going to be a matchup dependent team for their results. But this is not X Pairs, their coach. It's not his first LAN, so I'm interested to see what kind of calming presence that he can have for them, as these are all young players. They're all very capable of performing well. I think Kofer's demon demoing, I'm going to say, can really throw a lot of teams off, and I think that it's not something that you see as much outside of his ability to do that. So I'm interested to see how he can perform and how SSG goes in this major.
I'd like to add, SSG won based off a regional record-breaking demo per game record placed by Kofer. K Corp did the same thing with the Tau. They copied Space Station Gaming. They know we know ball over here. K Corp wishes they were SSG. That's all I've gotten at it. Let me dream. Let me cope. Let me cope. Stop making that face red. Let me cope.
Okay. Well, third up we got Gen G. roster move. They picked up Justin in replace of Reddles prior to the start of Split 2. At Major 1, they finished 9th to 11th, just missing out on the top 8. In Open number 4, they got a 2nd place. In Open number 5, they got a top 6. And in Open number 6, they got top 4. Second. No, that was wrong. I'm sorry. I was on Open number 4 again. Yep, top 4.
They lost to Space Station in semis.
Yes. So, what do we think about Gen G with the addition of Justin, and how do you feel having Justin back at a LAN event?
Well, I mean, this is the first time since Gen G has had Jack on the roster that I'm thinking these guys actually have a chance to go far in a major. I mean, no offense against the old Gen G roster, but I mean, they were in a very similar boat. They were making round 5, if that, and that was it. This team, when they are on, when Justin is on, I mean, when this team is locked in, they look fantastic. They have the chemistry there. Cheese and the Bear have been putting in a lot of work throughout the season. It's shown. I mean, these guys have a great opportunity to kind of. I'd say NA's 3 and 4 look a lot better than. The NA's 3 and 4 have been more consistent than EU's 3 and 4. And I think they have a good chance of making a top 8 here. It's fantastic to see Justin back on LAN. It's been forever, it feels like. And to be back on LAN with a team that we believe is going to go far. I mean, the last time I think we had Justin on LAN was...
NRG Justin.
It was NRG Justin, and I think they lost to G2 at Worlds, I think it was.
I think so too.
I think that's correct. And I mean, that was even them making it that far. I was like, oh, this is awesome. But man, the nostalgia factor is there to see Justin back. I have high hopes for this team. I just hope that they can handle the international play side of things.
Yeah, and that's really going to be like, I mean, we make a lot of, we put a lot of stock in the fact that like people have, LAN experience, major experience, but at what point does that kind of go away, right? Like at what point do you kind of not really have it anymore? And Justin has said, I don't, it's been so long since I've been on LAN, like it's not really a consideration for me anymore. So that is certainly something to look for, and I'm curious to see how he can perform in like doing that. But also looking back, 21-22 I think was the last time it was at Dickies, yeah. And we did get Garrett, Justin, Squishy. They tried to they did lose to G2. So that is what happened in top 8. And that was the last time that we saw Justin at LAN was 2022. So about 3 years. Last but certainly not least, for NA, we have the Ultimates, who
possibly least.
Yeah, possibly least. Also, possibly maybe secondest
as the 4 seed.
Yeah, but no roster moves in the transfer window. They got a 2nd place in Birmingham, a top 6 in Open number 4, a top 8 in Open number 5, and a 2nd place in Open number 6. Most notably, the LJ internet issues kind of derailed them a little bit in that top 8 finish, as they were relegated to lower bracket because of that. But this is another team, at least in my opinion, that has the talent and the ability to make a top 4 run, to make a potentially even to win the event, right? If they're on, they are a phenomenal team. However, in the past, outside of a couple of regionals, when the lights are brightest, First Killer tends to shrink away from it. So, especially on home soil where the pressure, maybe conceivably like a little bit higher for your NA teams, right? They want to do well in front of a home crowd. I don't know if they have what it takes to stand up to that. What do you guys think?
I think with this Ultimate team, it's weird saying that having them be the 4 seed, especially coming off of a second place finish at Birmingham. I mean, this is a team that we assumed it was going to be NRG Ultimate 1-2 for
ever
who knows how long at this point. But some unlucky events occurred and some not so great performances and matchups as well. I mean, their lowest placing of Open 5 was when they faced a Gen G roster in the top 8 match, which is just a crazy matchup to get.
Also, that was the first event with Justin on Gen G, and people were like, "Oh, how good are they actually going to be?" The answer was pretty freaking good. So
pretty good. I mean, I think it's weird. It's like it sucks for Ultimates to be a 4 seed. However, at the same time, I do believe that this has made NA stronger with them as the 4 seed because they're not a true 4 seed in my eyes, especially internationally. I mean, this is a team that has held their own internationally for a while now, and we have seen very high peaks for them. I need to see the team play. I need to see the chemistry that we have for so long wanted this team to have. I mean, we saw it at Birmingham up until the grand finals. We need to see it again for a improvement here. I mean, just please don't be on the same side of the bracket as Energy, please, so we can get an NA final somehow. I mean, it is I have high hopes for this team, and I know they can succeed well. However, you are still technically the 4 seed, so Buchholz is not going to be your friend right now. So you got to go out and win your matchups.
Well, Hecto has Falcons top 1, and what a transition because the next team on our list is Team Falcons. With a top 6 finish at Birmingham, a first place in Open number 4 and Open number 5, and a top 4 in Open number 6. No roster moves in the transfer window. We've seen them do well before. We've seen them crash out before. What do you guys think about Falcons in Raleigh?
Do we trust them?
No.
Do we trust them?
Absolutely not.
This team, time after time, it's always, if not now, when, and it's still not
We're
now.
still wondering when.
Outside of FIFA E, they've quite literally never won anything on an international stage. They've come so close time after time after time after time. And it's the same result every time. Moment too big, lights too bright. They can never just get the job done. So they really got to show us something to have some faith in it. And now you got I think TRK won the MENA ones.
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
No, Nuepo.
Sorry.
Okay. Wasn't it? Was it between them?
Yes.
At some.
Yes.
All right. That's what
it was between Nuepo and Ruas.
Yes, and because Ruas beat TRK.
Yeah,
Correct.
well, that would have been something that they would have had to focus on, but luckily, I still don't know how that works because obviously we've only had one player so far, being that the EU player. It's something with an M. Moxie. I was gonna say Minxie, but I was like, that's not right. Moxie was he obviously didn't have to focus on threes, but Drusafino or
Trevino.
No, it was Yan. It was Yan.
Yan?
It was Yan.
Why can't I'm doing terrible with the one's name?
Bro,
horrible.
Dementia's going crazy right now.
Oh God, Unk status achieved. But it's good that he's not focusing on ones on top of threes, because that would probably be a nightmare, especially for this team that needs to be completely locked in. So we will see. Hopefully, them being fully dialed in on threes. I don't like nothing's changing with this roster. Nothing is ever changing with this roster. You're getting the same team every single time. So unless they change how they're playing, the results are going to stay the same.
I agree. I mean, this is a Falcons team that we have had high hopes. The highest of hopes for them recently. I mean, I think like they've always been top 4 at this point for the last year or so. I mean, even to the point where they were considered a crowd favorite to win it all. Trying to remember which major it was. Can't think of it. But I mean, they've been in the top 4 talks. If they want to stay in the top 4 talks, we have to start seeing results. You have to get the job done. You have to beat the teams you need to beat. You have to beat the NRG. You have to beat the Carmine Corps. You have to beat the Vitality. You have to beat these teams. And they just haven't yet. I have them making top 8 regardless. Like, that is a no doubter. I have them going top 4 or no higher. They will not see this grand finals unless the playoff bracket is nice.
I will say, KQ placed them 3rd in for power rankings last week.
Yeah, I mean they are always going to be top 4 contention.
They have the talent to win it, but I thought we cracked the code the last time, but FIFA E threw a wrench in it. They don't play on Sundays because for all Saudi regional events, they play Thursday, Friday, Saturday instead of Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And when you get to a major LAN, like Worlds or either of the majors, they play Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And that is a little bit different of a situation for them. So I kind of thought, well, maybe they just can't play on Sundays. Maybe they don't show up on Championship Sunday, and that's why they get their top 4s. But FIFA E kind of dispelled that a little bit. But if they can put everything together, I definitely think they have the talent and the capability to win. But will we see it? I'm also kind of going to say no, and it's going to be a top 4. But our second MENA team, we got Twisted Minds. No roster moves in the transfer window. A top 8 in Major 1. A second place in Major number 2. Or in Open number 5, sorry, of the... that was wrong. Second place in Open number 4.
All over the place.
Yeah, that was... I don't know what is going on. I'm waiting for everything to load here. We have a Twisted Minds top 4 in Open number 5 and in Open number 6. They again finish second place. So, kind of exactly what we'd expect from them, right? A consistent second place team in MENA. They had the one event where they lost to ROC, but realistically, I think that they have the talent to make a top 8. Do you either of you guys think that they will make a top 8?
I mean, I'm putting these guys in a very similar tier to where Gentlemates was at, right? They have the ability to make that top 8 and to succeed. However, it really is going to come down to those Swiss matchups on who they face. They get a rough matchup set. Buchholz is not nice to them, which right now it kind of hates them considering they got KC as their first round matchup.
Yeah, that seems so weird to me. Like
insane, by the way.
Yup.
However, this is a team that can make a top 8, maybe a top 6. Again, this is like the highest ceiling I see for them. Realistically, I have them top 8, no higher. Even if like around 5 loss.
Because I mean, like you could lose to Carmine Corps and then you could get like an NRG or Gen.G in the 0-1 match. Like it's entirely, or like an Ultimates or Space Station. It's entirely possible. That's a horrible round 2 matchup because to go down 0-2, like you're so behind the 8 ball there.
I was gonna say, based off matchups, there's a possibility they don't even make it out of Swiss. It really depends on the matchups, obviously, and even if they get a team like Furia, who is fueled by hatred towards Nuepo specifically, we know how Furia plays off pure hatred. They are a top 1 team when they want to beat someone specifically.
When someone L dances them, they're going off.
Mm-hmm. And so it really just depends on the matchups with them. The ceiling is high, but the floor is low. So it's like I said, outside of NRG and K Corp, every team it depends on who we get.
Fair. Well, moving over into Sam, we have Furia. Again, no roster moves. Top 4 in Birmingham, a second place in Open number 4 as Lost had internet issues, and then a first place finish in Open number 5 and in Open number 6. if there were to be a Mina representative in the top 4 or a Sam representative outside of the top 8, it's going to be Furia. I can see them making a top 4, but realistically, based on how every other team has been trending, probably it's a top 6.
Very similar team to, excuse me. We were talking about matchups. This is a team, if they get the right matchups, they will make that top 4 run. They've been very strong in international play. We know this team can compete with the highest level of teams. At the end of the day, though, it comes down to matchups. They want to face the Vitalities. They want to face those slower, more methodical teams. Or not slow, methodical teams. They want to face those style of teams. The team they don't want to face, as we have seen in the past, is NRG. That is the one team this Furia team needs to avoid at all costs, because their record against NRG, not great.
Abysmal.
I think it might be 0. It's damn near close to 0. It is bad. That is one team. NRG is trying to avoid ultimates. Furia is trying to avoid NRG. And Vitality is trying to avoid Carmine Core.
Seems about right.
That is, if Furia avoids NRG, top 4. Otherwise, top 6 probably.
Fair.
I still believe in the boys. I think no matter what, they're capable of great things, and they're gonna peak up until the big moments and then fall apart.
Fair. Well, our second team, speaking of falling apart, our second team in SAM is Team Secret, who finish a top 14, 12th to 14th in Major number 1. They won Open number 4 and got a second place finish in Open number 5 and Open number 6. A horrible performance in Birmingham. I realistically don't know that it could be much worse for them in terms of performance there. Certainly, you'd think that they can't do worse than they did, but I don't see them, quite frankly, really making even a round 5. Like, I don't know if that's a little bit harsh, but until I see it, I'm not gonna can't put the eggs in the basket there.
Yeah, I have them going out at the best case for Team Secret, round 5, depending on Buchholz. Realistically, I have this team going round 4. I have zero faith in this team internationally. They have not performed well at all internationally, unless it is Oceania, APAC occasionally, SSA. I mean, you have to be able to compete at that level, and they just really can't. They haven't showed us anything, and it's kind of disappointing for having such a strong SAM 1 seed. The gap is ridiculous between SAM 1 and SAM 2. Hopefully, they prove us wrong. I would love to be proven wrong. Would love to see SAM as a region succeed. I just don't think it's happening. I believe this SAM team goes out round 4.
I bet that's on me. But I think the obvious telltale of what's going to happen to Secret is the fact that they did so poorly in the first major. They made no roster changes, and literally every team that will be at this major is better. Every team has only gotten better, so the matchups are only going to get worse for them. It's a scary world for them. I don't imagine Secret. I think the top 5 ceiling or the round 5 ceiling is pretty dead on, but that's the ceiling.
Yeah. We're kind of getting towards some of the longer odds to even make a top 8. Next up in OCE, we have Wildcard, who finished 12th to 14th in Major number 1. The same as Secret, might I add. They got a first place in Open number 4, a first place in Open number 5, and a top 4 in Open number 6. This is a team that, Banana Head continues to perform in OCE and continues to not perform very well on the world stage. I don't really think that this is the year that they turn that around. I mean, maybe you get a round 4, but that's like, for OCE, it kind of seems like making a round 4 is probably a pretty big win.
I'm in such a weird place with OCE because before Birmingham, I've been a decent OCE believer. I've been at least OCE 1, I've always thought that this region could get those wins. I mean, they've been so close to making top 8s before. But Birmingham burned me, man. I mean, that was the worst I've seen that region play ever. Do I think this wildcard team has the capabilities to make? I think I have wildcard going round 5. I think, because there's no, surely we don't see the same wildcard team we saw at Birmingham. Surely.
That was, again, to steal what I've said before, can't really be much worse.
Realistically,
just can't.
I see wildcard going round 5. I don't see them making top 8, barring a miracle run out of them. But I mean, round 4, round 5, realistically.
Fair. And then our last OCE team is TSM. They did not make major number 1, so they did not finish there. They got a top 4 in open number 4 and in open number 5. And when they needed it most, when they needed to win to go, they won open number 6 and snagged that OCE number 2 spot. Again, with the delta that we've seen between, SAM 1 and SAM 2, I think it's a little bit similar with OCE 1 and 2. I think TSM is a very real possibility to go 0-3.
TSM's in a weird spot, right? We haven't seen them internationally yet. So they have that going for them. This could be a different, Oceania team that we've seen on LAN. However, mind you, this is the Oceania 2 seed. We're already looking pretty down on this region as a whole after Birmingham. I think this is probably a round 4 team. Realistically, just not even round 3 or 5, just round 4.
First round matchup is Vitality.
If they get a rough round 2 matchup and we could maybe see them go 0-3, realistically though, this is a round 4 team, barring miracles for this roster.
Fair. We got 2 teams left, so jumping up a little bit, we'll go to APAC and we'll talk about Virtus Pro, formerly the Luminosity roster. They finished 9th to 11th in Birmingham. They swept through first place in Open 4, 5, and 6 in APAC, beating the EU import roster every single time in the grand finals. A 9th to 11th finish for them in Birmingham was a phenomenal success. That was way better than anyone ever expected them to do, with wins over both OCE teams, taking a game off Ultimates in round 1, but ultimately falling short of a top 8 in round 5, getting swept by Falcons. This is another roster I could see, they're not quite good enough to compete with your NAs or your EUs or your Minas, but, a SAM 2, an OCE, an SSA, oh yeah, for sure, they're right in it. Quilly, what are your thoughts on Virtus Pro? What do you think about the 5-head and how could they go?
I think is by far the best minor region secondary team compared to they're the 1 seed, but I put them in the same category as the minor region secondary seeds outside of Twisted Minds. I think they're the best of the worst, is the nice way to put it. I think, I mean, they looked phenomenal for what was expected of them in the last one, but obviously there was such a low bar. It was pretty easy to exceed, but by gosh, they did it. So you can't knock that on them. So I have a lot of faith in them and winning straight, sweeping the all 3 regionals. It's a very solid team. Obviously, they're not going to go world beating, but they're definitely capable of doing some pretty good things comparatively.
I think we're also in an interesting position here too with APAC, where it's if we see an APAC top 8, first of all, that's insane. However, if APAC can outperform OCE again, you could potentially they'll close the gap on an LCQ spot. I don't think they get there, but it's possible then you see APAC, superseding OCE in terms of your region rankings, right? And generally we've kind of talked about them in the order that most people would put them in if they were to rank the regions, right? EU, NA, MENA, SAM, OCE, APAC, SSA. However, I think that with another good performance like they had in Birmingham, I think that they could potentially surpass OCE. What do you think, Red?
I agree. I believe this team is coming off of a crazy momentum. They have yet to come down from their momentum. They look in great form for this coming up major. I think this is a round 4, round 5 team. No longer are we seeing the days of APAC going 0-3. I think with this roster we are past this. Hopefully. I obviously the floor is still 0-3, very easily attainable depending on the matchups. I have faith in this APAC roster. I believe they'll make the round 5 again. I don't believe they got what it takes to go top 8 yet, but I do believe they're going round 5 again.
Fair. And then last but not least, we have Foot Esports from SSA. Major, technically speaking, because of Bucky, they finished 16th. However, they did take more games off of their opponents than the 15th place team in Chiefs. They were able to sweep through their region. They completed the perfect regional split for the second time this season, finishing first in open number 4, 5, and 6. So, realistically speaking, we'd love to see, Armonic, friend of the show, we'd love to see them do well. But realistically, do you see Foot making a top 8?
No, unfortunately not. Looking at the matchups and what is projected, it is going to be a tough road for this roster to make round 4, let alone top 8. They have unfortunately been dealt a pretty crappy hand when it comes to the teams they'll be facing against. Obviously, we know this team could pull off some upsets. It's possible. I mean, they went to 5 wildcard. They went to 5 with secret. It is doable. Hopefully, they've learned their lesson when it comes from the last major. They have that ice. They have that clutch factor gained to be able to finish the job against those teams where it was doable. I mean, this was a Foot roster that we easily could have seen in round 4, round 5 last major, if 1 or 2 games went another direction. I think Foot is very much in the, they have been dealt a poor hand. However, they still have the cards to be able to win it.
Okay. Well, we've now gone through all of the regions and all of the teams. So the categories that we have to kind of put these teams in based on our thoughts and our predictions are major contenders. So like teams that can realistically win the major, top 4 threats, top 8 caliber, round 5 Swiss, can take a series or 2, and then 0-3. So do you guys want to start with major contenders or do you want to start with 0-3?
How many major contenders are we putting?
As many as you think can win it.
Because there's top 4 threats and top 8 calibers. I don't know how the mathematics work if we're just gonna go.
The math is not going to work out.
All right.
No,
I just wanted to
because
double check
who do you think?
Because I think that there's 11 top 8 caliber teams.
All right. I just wanted to double check that and make sure what the criterias were here.
We're looking at best case scenario. If every team got their dream matchups, their dream bracket, best case scenario.
If they paid off Bucky, where would they?
If they paid off Bucky, where are we going?
Well, I think major contenders. I think is a pretty easy one. I think there's only 2. I think it's just K Corp NRG. I think those are the only solidified top dogs that you can no doubt say are winning it. If you guys want to put anyone else, that's up to you. But I think the obvious contenders that can, without a doubt, if you're putting money on 1 or 2 teams, it's these 2. They're probably minus odds in the bookies.
Yeah, I agree. It is Carmine Core, NRG.
Okay. I could potentially hear an argument for the Ultimates, but I am perfectly happy.
I was thinking Ultimates too. However, open 4, 5, 6 scares me.
Yes,
Ultimates
I agree.
number 2 seed maybe.
Yeah.
Ultimates number 2 placement maybe.
But okay, so then top 4 threats.
Ultimates, Furia, Falcons,
Foot.
Ultimate Fury Falcons. I almost said Vitality, and I'm going to take it back now because I don't.
We only have one EU team making top 4.
Well, okay, you got Carmine Core technically, but I mean,
Dig.
you okay?
Yeah, you don't like Dig?
if I could put Dig at top 6, I would.
That's why I did top 8 and then top 4.
This
Because I
sucks,
think it would be
'cause
hard.
I am Dig right in between.
Okay,
I mean,
that's fine. I'm good with this.
I think in terms of
realistically,
its
if we're talking
threats.
best case scenario, Dig is a top 4 threat. Best case scenario, Dig is a top 4 threat.
I think Vitality is a top 4 threat as well. It's
That's-
threat, not top 4
Yeah.
guaranteed. Top 4.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Threat?
We put Vitality. If we're putting Vitality, we gotta put Dig.
Okay.
No way we don't put Dig in there.
Okay. Fine by me. Okay.
Big emphasis on on parentheses, dependent on matchups and some luck.
Well,
Close parentheses.
it's top 4 threat, not top 4 luck.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like
yeah.
they could threaten a top 4.
They can reach the top shelf.
Yeah.
It's there.
These are
doable.
These are all teams that will be in a bracket matchup to make top 4.
Agreed. Yes.
Okay. So
Agreed.
now we got top 8 caliber. I think I got to start it out. I got to go SSG.
Yes. Genji.
Got to go Genji, I think.
Mates.
I was thinking the
Yes.
same thing.
See, mates top 8 round 5 Swiss. Like, again, I have them.
I think
floating
Mates
in
might be
between.
closer to round 5 than they
I
are
was
top
like,
8.
wait,
Good. Top 8 caliber means like
you
feeling
know
it.
what?
Do you want Mates here? Or do you want Mates round 5 Swiss loss?
Let's see who else are we putting top 8 caliber? Who else
Okay,
are we putting top 8
we'll
caliber?
leave Mates out for now.
Twisted?
And
So, I mean, like,
then, yeah,
you-
Twisted.
Yeah, I say Twisted or top 8 caliber. Yeah.
So we are missing.
No
Mates is the only
missing-
non-NA or EU
Yeah.
team that we're missing. Okay.
I mean, the only other team that goes there is Mates.
Okay, so then let's.
I don't see any OCE. I don't see Sam 2. I don't see APAC. I don't see. I mean, that's it.
Okay, so then let's do this way because we'll slowly run out of teams here. 0-3. Who do you think's going 0-3?
I'm gonna say, wow, 0-3.
Give me Foot and TSM.
Not secret.
I'm going secret round 4 purely because they're going to get bailed out in their O2 matchup somehow. And
That's
the reason I put TSM there is they have no land
No,
experience.
wildcard's got to go round 5 Swiss. I don't think wildcard's round.
Can take a
5
series or
takes
two.
it.
Is what I was saying.
I was like,
I think wild cards-
take a series or 2 is also round 4, round 5. I mean,
It's round 3 or 4. No, math is hard.
I was like, what?
Okay. So then
Yeah.
we're missing Mates. We're missing Virtus Pro. We're missing.
I think VP's going series or 2. I can take a series or 2. I think VP's a series or 2. I would love to ride the train that is VP. However,
Okay.
it's still VP.
No, totally agree.
The wildcard mates round 5 Swiss.
I
So-
think we go wild cards mates round 5 Swiss.
Okay.
Because I think
Mates
this means they'll
Mates
be
got-
in round. They'll be in round 5. They will be in round
yeah.
5, not losing round 5.
Mates has got a foot in round 5 top 8, while wild cards got a foot in round 5 round 4.
Okay. So I think this is a pretty good list. So to recap for the audio only listeners, in our major contenders we have Carmine Corps and NRG. In our top 4 threats we have Ultimates, Furia, Falcons, Vitality, and Dignitas. So I would like to note that we have 5 teams in the top 4, but also NRG and Carmine Corps also there. So 7 teams potentially with a top 4 threat. Top 8 caliber, we have SSG, Gen G, and Twisted Minds. In round 5 Swiss, we have Wildcard and Gentle Mates. In Can Take a Series or 2, we have Secret and Virtus Pro. And 0-3, we have Foot and TSM. Unfortunately, we gotta have 2 teams that are going to go 0-3. That's just the way that the Swiss works. I think it's going to be very matchup dependent. Whether I think I could see a Secret here, I could see a Virtus Pro here, I could see TSM or Foot, even Wildcard potentially, depending on again if they get like really unfortunate. But
if wildcard goes 0-3, there has to be like a watch put out for CJ. Someone's got to make sure he's okay.
Yeah,
That
probably.
it will be
Especially after
doomsday.
Shopify crashes out too.
Take away all the shoes. He
He's been cut off. He's been cut off.
He's been cut off.
The more I look at this, the more I think SSG belongs closer to mates than they do to the top, just because we don't know what we're getting.
This is fair. This is a fresh SSG roster on no LAN experience.
Yeah, that's why I have them in top 8 caliber, because I think that they have the talent to go top 4, but like until we see them compete internationally, I don't know how they're going to react to it.
Do we think they're that much better than mates?
Yes.
I think their peak potential is much higher than mates.
I think the ceiling is higher than mates. Agreed.
Yeah.
However,
Right.
the difference with, at least for me, the difference between SSG and mates is the range of outcomes is much bigger for Space Station. They could make a top 4 or they could not make top 8. Whereas mates, I'm like, they're going round 5 or they're going to be top 8.
No matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are round 5 minimum.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Barring the craziest Buchholz Bucky
Master
Buckiness.
run or whatever. Yeah, I'm with you. So, but that is what we have for that. Next week, this time next week, we will be recording again, and we will be doing an interview with Big Fan RL, who runs Fantasy Rocket League. So we'll be talking about his favorite picks, who he's got on his fantasy team. We'll be talking about the Boost Over Ball Fantasy League group that we're going to start for this event as well. We'll talk about, maybe doing a giveaway or doing a prize for, top 3, something like that, depending on how many people we get to sign up. But was there anything else that you guys wanted to add about any of the major teams, any of the predictions that we've made, or anything like that before we wrap up for today?
Got a Quilly question.
Yup. Let's hear it.
What underrated player do you think can establish themselves as a star in this?
Underrated player established as a star.
Who do you think is going to be a good surprise? Did I ask this last week? I don't remember.
No, I don't believe you did. I think Yujin could be a good one.
Yeah, I was like, Eugene is a good one. I think Eugene can surprise us. He's got 0 LAN expertise here. I think he could be a very much a surprise candidate for this Digital Mates team. Like big if. He's very much a big question mark here. I also believe Kofer on LAN is going to be very interesting to watch. We've seen his demo capabilities online. Do we see maybe a bit of a calm personality come out of Kofer with the demos? Really start trying to go for the mental side of things? We'll find out.
Yeah, and last for me, I'm going MB. Magic Bear.
Oh,
so
yes,
I think
the Bear.
So adding Justin, it kind of seems like, and to CJ's credit, it kind of seems like we're closer to Scrim Bear than we were to just the normal run-of-the-mill Magic Bear. And he especially towards the beginning of the split, he was moving a little different. I don't know if it's confidence. I don't know if Justin has unlocked something for him, or if he, with his, expertise and experience that he has he been able to, to be a calming presence for him. I think that he could be I think if Magic Bear starts popping off, I think you maybe see a Gen G, with a top 6 potential, right? But I think that, Justin's going to be what Justin is, and he's a phenomenal player. But I think that the peak really comes from Magic Bear.
I think I wanted to go with Kofer, but that seemed like too much of a biased pick. And then I low-key wanted to go with Cheese. I low-key was feeling a little Cheese pick, but who I really think might just come out of nowhere and just become just like put on an absolute clinic. I have Atomic from Twisted. Twisted Minds Atomic. I think he's gonna. I feel like someone on that team's gonna step up. And obviously we know Rise and we know Nuepo's ability. I think Atomic's gonna show up and push that team to a newfound ability.
I have an add-on, maybe not to that's gonna not to the extent of these other players, but someone that I would love to see pop off would be Sphinx from Virtus Pro, the only technical APAC player on the Virtus Pro roster, the only APAC representative in at an RLCS LAN this season. He showed up in a big way when they beat OCE twice in Birmingham. I would love to see Sphinx pop off again. I think that would be fantastic to see.
My other pick, anyone from Foot. VK Salen. We know VK Salen's good at the game, but either the other two,
Mioro or Torres.
See one of them do something great. What's it? Armonic was saying to not sleep on Lioro.
Okay.
During his interview, I'm pretty sure it was Lioro.
Hey, I mean, we're here for the clips.
Like,
dude, we're a sucker for good clips, you know.
Please, Foot, get us a win. I want to see the joy on Armonic's face.
That would be awesome to see for them. But any other Quilly questions, or anything else that you guys want to add?
All good
here.
Okay, well, with that, we would like to thank you all so much for listening. We'd like to remind everyone that this podcast is proudly brought to you by our name level supporters on Patreon, Alyssa B. Please remember to rate us 5 stars wherever you listen to podcasts, share the show, tell a friend. It all helps us grow our audience and improve our show. Remember to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok, Twitch, which we're currently live streaming on right now. You could drop us a follow on LinkedIn. We're going professional on this one. And come join our Discord, come talk ball, come tell us that we know nothing, or tell us, that you didn't respect our game before. Make sure to check us out by checking out our merch store and Patreon. This is how we fund the show and do giveaways in the future. All of these links and more can be found on our website at boostoverball.com. You can even grab a cool jersey like the one that Quilly is rocking right now, which you will see in Raleigh if you are going. And from us here on the show, as always, remember to choose Boost over Ball. See ya.
Thanks for listening to the Boost Over Ball podcast. Make sure to check out our website at boostoverball.com.